This is my typical introduction since nobody's here yet. Usually, I make a video and I talk about a topic and can say whatever I want, get to whatever points I want. I'd like to try to stick to the chaos of the world in this particular live cast, but it's open for discussion, open forum. If somebody goes back and listens to the beginning here and wants to comment, please feel free to do so. And if you're here live and you've never been to one of my live casts, then just be aware that I don't necessarily center them around a particular topic that I must adhere to. I only do spontaneous live streams. I have no intention of doing, some sort of a scheduled stream. It's just doesn't work for me. My brain doesn't work that way. But sometimes I have something to say. And sometimes I just want to ramble. But today was a day off of work for me. My boss was sick and he was coughing and sick this morning. So he said no work till he's better. So I've been at home and I've been doing a lot of thinking today, a lot of philosophizing. And that's what I tend to do. I sometimes listen to music or watch shows or documentaries, whatever is interesting at the moment. But quite often, I just find myself sitting and thinking. And I got to say, it's not the best use of time. Philosophy is a way of life. And I don't say that like pretentiously, like I'm a philosopher. I really don't like the word because it almost resonates with, I'm an intellectual. It's like I personally have no intention of being an intellectual. Uh, I feel like people disconnect more and more with other people the more bullshit that they learn or think that they know. But as far as philosophy, it really matters a lot in being able to cope with a lot of the world bullshit that's going on right now. Because that wisdom that we accrue over our lives can be really put to use. I have noticed that over my decades of life, that a lot of the people who you would think are very mature in many ways tend to be, let's just say, less than mature. Uh, that age does not bring wisdom. Some people don't even step on any path of awareness until they're, much older. And some people are consistently on one path from the time that they're young. It really depends on the individual. But the reason why philosophy is important, in my opinion, is because our beliefs need to be analyzed. And I want to make kind of a basic summary of uh, how I feel about information over the past 50 years. So, propaganda came out after World War II, convincing Americans to buy this product, buy that product. It worked. You've got guys like Edward Bernays, and I'm not even doing a podcast. I don't know why I have the microphone set up here. You have all these different people who were trying to sell you garbage. And at the same time, the media became more biased, especially in the 1980s when the Fairness Doctrine was eliminated. And we moved into a world today where at one time people loved to debate. People loved to argue. They loved to have great discussions where they could actually prove their point as best they could and let the other person absorb it and say, okay, let me check those facts. Well, actually, it's this. And that was how discussions used to go a long time ago, long before the modern day kind of bullshit that we're consistently immersed in. And if you were to watch the media, you would think that the world's falling apart. But our beliefs need to be analyzed. And when you eliminate all the other aspects, truth is all that's left. Truth and sometimes hope, right? Hope for something better. But we get very excited when we discover a new truth. Okay. Now, I have to kind of consider how I tackle this topic because, over my life, I've never been religious in the sense of a organized religion, but I consider myself religious. I just don't particularly have a specific practice. I do talk to nature. I have asked for uh, understanding of the universe and meditated and done all of these things. And psychedelics have definitely lent an ear to that. But processing all these different things, I just can't buy into any one person's version of what's truth. And I've allowed a lot of the ideas that I've learned, things that I've learned in my life, ferment in my head and process them over many years. I was reading books about psychedelics and dimensions back when I was, late teen, early 20s, and I was really into that stuff, holographic universes. And I remember walking down the sidewalk thinking, wow, atoms are all empty space. Holy crap, this is all just energy. And so what I'm getting at is these are these are the topics that attracted people and really gets people's attention. The whole ancient aliens, mysteries of the universe, ghosts, things like that, because they're the unknown. Therefore, it's hard for us not to fall into wanting to believe and stand up for certain things that we believe to be true. But it seems like we're going off the rails. The internet has allowed people to band together in these groups that, whether it's a flying spaghetti monster or anything else, we're pretty delusional about a lot of the things that we believe. And that's okay. I'm not telling people not to believe in whatever gets them through the day. But it's ironic that often, and I've heard this from several people, if I say, well, I don't believe in this and you do, but that's okay. We have different thoughts. And they'll say, open your mind or do your research. That was an older one. Doing your research, which, even if you've done all the research you can on something, you find people just are not content with that. What people often mean is do the research that agrees with what they believe, because people don't like being wrong. Who does? And when we get excited about something new we discover, as I said, when I discover these Eastern mysticism and Buddhism and Hinduism, wow, these things are amazing. There's so many truths here. And then you start to process it and you start to say, well, okay, maybe that's a little bit off the rails. Oh God, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Yeah, it sounds sus to me. Ultimately, the conclusion here, not conclusion of the video, I got a long way to go here, but the conclusion of that that I've come to is that people need to think for themselves. People need to process shit themselves and be okay with others not agreeing with them instead of fighting over things that are petty, pathetic, and don't really matter. I have a lot of, what is the word I'm looking for? Unpopular opinion. It would be like I could make a whole Reddit post of my unpopular opinions that people would not agree with me on many different aspects of life, society, spirituality. It's I don't know. I think, as I said, we get excited about new things, new discoveries. There's been a weird kind of decade on the internet. And as a bunch of hairless apes typing away on a keyboard, or I guess just using our phones these days, um, we've failed to address some of the most important concepts in life, which are listening to our hearts, building relationships, family and friends, and doing things that we love, which can be very hard because life can be difficult. We can't always do what we love. I mean, the last couple months have been a struggle, for me personally and my wife, my whole family. We've all been through a lot of shit lately, but it is what it is. We just move forward. That's all you can do. You just process. And so, life gives you lemons. Just eat the fucking lemons. Don't even bother making lemonade. Just learn how to love the lemons, you know? Anyway, I should flip through the comments before I continue. I got that first part off my chest. Hope everybody's doing fantastic tonight. But hello, Bunny. It's good to see you. CGGGG says, "What's your relationship with beauty?" That's an interesting concept and a question. You can ask further if you have more of a specific, you know, question or want a specific analysis on beauty. I do believe that beauty is, in some sense, universal, that we know beauty when we see it, but that much of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But that comes down to our own personal subjective opinions about what we want to be beautiful. Often we are delusional. You just know when something is symmetrical, it seems beautiful a lot of the time. But just because it's symmetrical doesn't mean it is beautiful. That's my relationship with beauty. I have a beautiful wife, and I love her. That's what you're supposed to say as a husband. So, uh, hello, Daniel. Dan Wheeler, good to see you. Tid Akram, hello in Sweden there. Hello, G-Man from Southwest Florida. Hello, Emi. Thank you. Kids, close your ears. Showing off our fake selves, says Amy. Yes, it's true. But let me just make a side note before I forget. When it comes to showing off and you know, it's like when I was a kid. You know, teenagers wanting a starter jacket and to have their hair a certain way. People have always wanted to look good. And what I do when I want to analyze whether that's productive or not, I look back through history at how humans have acted through history as well as how other animals act. When you look at the birds of paradise and the way that they dance, many of them dance these wild dances. They spend all this time practicing, and the girls are very picky when it comes to picking a mate. And there's a certain amount of feathers that are needed and a certain look. And this is why, in some psychology circles, I've heard, uh, or even just slang, I guess, is peacocking. Peacocking is because the males have such beautiful feathers, and the girl peacocks are ugly. Well, not ugly, but they just, brown birds, I guess. But the males have to show off their feathers, and therefore people use it to define teenagers who want to dress a certain way to impress the girls. I think that's okay. I think that we take it too far when you see dudes in their 50s driving a Corvette and trying to dress like they're cool. But hey, I'm almost 50 and I try to be cool, but I am cool, I guess. Hello, Eric. It's good to see you. Hello, Book of Uma. Good to see you too. The starter jacket says Eric. Yep. So I was thinking earlier about making a podcast or a video talking about, I guess it was going to be more about astrology and spirituality, and I was going to dismiss kind of my thoughts about just how lacking many of the beliefs we have are of any evidence whatsoever. I've done my charts, I have books about astrology, but somebody sent me something earlier and we got into this discussion, kind of a debate about how valuable these things are. And I guess I've always been really fascinated with science and spirituality and religion and how all these things operate. And I found that a lot of them just aren't productive. It's not about being comfortable in something we believe, it's more, how do we believe things that are productive that aren't dogmatic? And that's was going to be the title of this live cast, something about dogma being the problem, but I forgot because my brain's scattered and I've been going through a lot of shit lately, so I can't keep my brain on task. And I'm surprised I've even made a few videos I have lately. And this espresso is delicious. Oh, it's so good. West Coast hippie drinking my latte. Gotta love it. So I was thinking about this, the astrology, religion, all the things that people believe or want to believe. And I wanted to break it down, and this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. How do you break it down to the very basics so everyone can enjoy and be part of it? That would be mean that it would have to be all religion or belief systems that are worthy of, say, whether you believe in ascension to another level or heaven or any of these things. They would have to be accessible to all humans, which would mean it would be primal knowledge. It would also mean you don't have to learn it from other people, meaning that it comes straight from your heart. In other words, the most extreme example, a young couple born on a desert island, their parents died, they managed to survive, they know nothing about religion, culture, language, yet they go to hell because they didn't know Jesus. These kinds of things are just like the head scratchers, literally, how to justify the fact that any type of connection to the ether, to the divine, has to come through us in our hearts. Can't be through anything else, which is why I hate astrology. Um, it's just, as long as it's known to be entertainment, that's fine. But there is absolutely no scientific evidence or otherwise that astrology means a damn thing. And if you don't believe me and you do believe in horoscopes, just cover up all the months and read random horoscopes to each other and see which, if you can guess which one's yours. Because, until they tell me I'm going to win the lottery or pick these numbers, I'm just going to say it's just a general discussion about who we are. So there's types of bad ideas. There's hopeful and there's hateful. In other words, within religion and our belief systems, there's ones that are hopeful and ones that are hateful, but sometimes the hopeful ones can be hateful towards other belief systems. And sometimes the hurtful ones, the hateful ones, can actually be hopeful for the people who believe it, because then they can convince themselves that everything's going to go their way and everybody else is wrong. But like I said, the best belief systems are universal. They have to be able to be shared by a dude in a loincloth on a desert island who knows no other people. God has to be connectable through nature directly. And that's why it's so absurd in today's world that people are still fighting dogmatically about what belief system is right. And within that, it becomes taboo to talk about it, which is weird. It's just another thing like religion, science, politics, intelligence, gun control, wealth and income, you name it, death, men, women, differences, trans culture, race, gender, um, uh, penis enlargements. No, I just popped it into my head. Popped into my head. That's hilarious. Um, but mental health is on the top of that list. Seems that people can't even talk about fucking mental health anymore without their shit being censored. Now, I mentioned this the other day. I'm just gonna bring it up to make a point. What we consider to be offensive is pretty ridiculous. I watch this one YouTube channel, and they made one that was called. I don't watch it all the time. It's kind of controversial shit. Not always my cup of tea. But it was said, have men become weak, or something to that effect, or why did men become so weak? And it was a thumbnail with one picture and another picture. The first picture was a soldier from probably a movie. It looked like World War I, a young guy that was just battle hardened. And the next one was this some gay looking guy, or I couldn't tell, but it was a rainbow flag in the background. I know that that thumbnail alone was what got it age restricted, but the point I wanted to make was that because he posted something about it being age restricted right away. Didn't, I was like, yeah, that's just how YouTube is. But I watched the video and there wasn't anything controversial in there that should have been age restricted. All young men should be able to watch that. And I thought, fine, whatever. The next day I watched a video and it came on randomly, and it was about how a guy went and killed his wife and his kids and his dogs and burned his house down. And it just started this story out with all this violent shit that was real. And I thought, wow, so that's not age restricted. Doesn't matter if kids turn something like that on, but you got to be 18 to hear about being a real man. And regardless of how I feel about manhood or the changes in society or social justice, I see why people get frustrated. And God, I don't know what to think about it. Like, it's a very strange time to be alive. There's so much weird shit going on out there, and it's very hard to address it all. I don't know what to think. I really don't. Carl Jung. Hello, Al Ohm. It's good to see you. Carl Jung, the I Ching, astrology to X's intuition. The issue I have with astrology is just that nobody can say what a particular planet or birth sign matters. And in fact, what if you were born by C-section a day before you were supposed to be born? That would change your star signs, right? But even if you take groups of people around the world who were born on the same day, their characteristics aren't the same. Even if they were born in the same hour, they've done these studies. The thing is that we want to believe that it can give us some truth. And there may be people who can tap into it, but so far there hasn't been any evidence that it's actually provable in any particular way. uh, Tid says there are many new laws suggestion channels on YouTube. Deny the bad news, it never happened. Yep, you're absolutely right, and I hate that shit. I watched The Secret when I was younger and read the book. Believed in the power of intention. I used to go around being positive. I remember driving my car down the road and sending out, quote, positive vibes to the world. I still do that, but I don't do it expecting that I'm living in some world where me sending out happiness to the world, even when I'm not feeling happy, is going to make me happier, because it really doesn't. It's about processing our feelings and moving through them, letting them move through us, rather. Mhm. Oh, that's funny, Amy. Same birthday as you, and they were an awful person. A struggle to understand oneself and our memory. Yep, I agree. So I'm just flipping through the comment. Carpo, let's eat mushrooms. Step ahead of you, man. No, I haven't in about a year. Yes, the mythos and synchronicity. I'm aware of that. The archetypes are something I've been fascinated with. Oh, somebody asked, do you grow wild tobacco? I do. I just let it kind of grow in my backyard, wherever the seeds end up growing. I only have a couple plants this year. But yeah, the Jungian beliefs in the archetypes, I was fascinated. Manly P. Hall covered that a lot, and so did Joseph Campbell. He's probably one of the easiest going when it comes to those things, but he had some great discussions. Joseph Campbell was awesome. He um, he could bring these allegories and archetypes into these stories that were digestible, where people could actually learn where these stories come from. Movies, Disney cartoons, these morals and these continual stories, the hero's journey, and all of this. It's funny because the more I learned about spirituality, as far as what was documented as spirituality, or Buddhism, or Zen, or any of this, the more I realized nobody knows shit. And therefore, I can go on with my life. I can live my life the way I want to without anybody else's dogma getting in the way, because dogma is the killer. Dogma is the problem. It's not beliefs, it's dogma. And in a nutshell, the difference is, if you want to believe in, like I said, a flying spaghetti monster, or that trees are God, or like I thought bacteria could be God, who knows? None of that matters if you think that the guy who believes in a different God is a bad person in any way, shape, or form. So even if you're a Christian who says, I say live and let live, I just believe this, but you believe that other people around you who don't believe what you believe are going to hell, and they'll burn in eternity hell for hellfire, you're living an unhealthy lifestyle, in my opinion. And that you are basically separating yourself from other people, whether you know it or not. Subconsciously, you're thinking of them as lesser people. Well, they're not going to be in heaven. Why should I care? And then there's always the warriors who go out and try to convert people. If you're trying to convert people, you've also missed the point. If you introduce how you process the world and your own spirituality to other people, that's a different story. But I've always been fascinated with occult knowledge, or occult just meaning hidden. But the mystical, the world of, yeah, my mic is cutting out. Uh-oh, that's not good. Hopefully not. If my mic's cutting out, just let me know. Jung. Um, Nobody else said it, so let me know. But I won't be on here long. It's going to be a short live cast. I just got to go grab something. Feel free to comment and bring your grandma on and shit. I'll be back in like 1 minute. I wish I had some elevator music I could play for y'all. But, or maybe a commercial. You guys want like a sponsorship, an ad? I could put on like BetterHelp or uh, maybe sell you a VPN or some shitty online school. It won't get you shit. Whoa, of course. I'm gonna make sure that I keep an eye on the time because I've got to go see Oppenheimer with my son in like an hour. And yeah, he's 14. He's interested in science. He likes science, and so do I. So it's a good match. I just sat back down and I forgot something. I'll be right back. Damn it. This is just how my life is. Chaotic and unorganized. So we're all imperfect, right? We're all just people and we're all just doing the best we can. And I'm very, very grateful to have my family. I'm very, very grateful to have my subscribers. I know that sounds stupid, but my subscribers, to me, it's not about money. You know that because I'm not making money on this channel. I really enjoy the conversations we have and the fact that people not just listen to what I have to say, but respond in kind and share with me some very inspiring responses. I I lament the day. That's not the right term. That's when you worry about something happening later, right? I guess you can lament the past, right? No, it saddens me that YouTube removed maybe 10 years ago. Um, when they removed the option for video responses because I could have discussions with people. And shit, my son sent me a text just now which said, "So insane, geez." It must have been something I sent him earlier. All right, doesn't matter. I'm not going to look. Probably nothing important. But anyhow, I've learned so much from my subscribers and the comments and discussions we've had. And but YouTube has kept me somewhat grounded in my ability to say how I feel and speak up and analyze the things that I might hold back and ask why, but also hear feedback from things that people disagree with, which helps me a lot. Help me become a better person, hopefully. Because that's when I say better person, I'm not talking about being good in society's eyes, but being good in my own eyes. Because I'm reflecting everything I know off my own heart and my own experiences. I have no idea what other people go through and how their brains process. In fact, one of the most valuable things I've learned in this fucked up world is to treat others with respect, regardless of what you think about them and how you feel they may be. judging people because of their clothing or how they look or their attitude one day is just bullshit. I have a lot of love for people and a lot of respect, but I also have a very low threshold for bullshit. I won't put up with people harassing me or my family or my friends. I won't put up with people harassing other people or, talking down to even their own kids out in public. I'm very outspoken. I tend to be the guy who does say something when I feel something is wrong. And sometimes I've thought that's something I need to just mind my own business, but no, I can't. I'm like that. I don't like injustice. It's something that matters to me. And when I first started my YouTube channel, I wanted to share education with people. That was the reason I really started it. I wanted to share my thoughts for the first couple of years, but then I was like, I want to educate. And I got very discouraged a couple of years back when basically all education turned into 5-minute hacks and garbage shit that nobody is ever going to use, that nobody wants to take the time to really learn anything deeply. Now, mind you, a percentage of the population does. Maybe 1 in 5 people are deep thinkers and really want to process things and understand why the world works the way it does. But man, a vast majority of people just don't give a shit. And that makes it hard because you want to have these discussions with people, and the only place to find them is the internet. So, I guess for anyone who thinks the internet's not real, that makes sense if you're watching Instagram. But if you're seeking out a specific type of person, maybe it's more real than you could find in the real world. But that aside, I still believe that the best way we can live is to interact with people on a personal basis, day to day. Know who they are, you know? Because we won't talk the same shit to each other, when uh, we're in a situation where you have to look a person in the eye. Attitudes change quickly. Like button, hell yeah. Thanks, Tid. I appreciate that. Matthew says, I miss old school YouTube and response videos attached to everyone's videos. I felt like our school community back then. It did. And I mentioned that the other day in a video I was doing about the good old days and how we had this little group, this little clique that would kind of message back and forth. And even the one troll that we all had that we shared, because we'd defend each other's channels against this troll dude. But there were a lot less users back then. I mean, it's multiplied tenfold, I'm sure, since then. But YouTube can be a cesspool, but honestly, if you fill your feed with valuable content, you won't get very much content because most channels that are worth a damn don't upload very often. That's, unless it's like a vlogging channel like mine where you can just make a talking video each day. Researched videos that have to do with real content and education take time to produce, and there's very few channels which are worthy. A lot of them are just rage bait, just want to get your attention and get you to buy their product. Better help. Man. Well, I think I'm going to go now. I'm going to get ready to go. I just wanted to kind of make a brief live chat, and I know I'll just talk for a couple hours if I don't, if I don't finish it up. I thought I saw menthol for a minute. Oh, that was Matthew. Okay. Sounds like my dog's barking anyway. She's such a nuisance sometimes. So thanks for coming along. I'm going to try to make another one of these in a few days. I'll let you know a day or so ahead of time so more people can join in. And peace out. Tell your friends and family you love them. I promise it'll be worth it.